It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Brewers in their final meeting of the year, and maybe it's just as well after the emotional outburst last night involving Guillermo Mota hitting Prince Fielder with a pitch. But we turn the page and take a look at the final game. If the Dodgers win, they will have taken 4 of 6, which means they have won 6 straight series from the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers, trying somehow to stay in the wild card race, if nothing else, they'll send a 9-game winner to the mound in Braden Looper. The Dodgers counter with Jason Schmidt, hoping it will be the same Jason Schmidt that pitched so well against Atlanta. 6 scoreless innings and only 1 hit allowed. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
They split the first 2 of this series. LA won last night 17-4, 18 hits. It takes us to our Lexus pursuing perfection. Manny Ramirez, 5th inning, his first home run since the Grand Slam on July 22nd.
Well, this is a hanging breaking ball right in his eyes, and he hit it out. And, he's going to do that. You throw a pitch like that to Manny, you can pretty much forget about it. But then, they come inside, they hit him. This was not intentional. There's no question that it wasn't intentional. They weren't trying to hit him. They were trying to go inside. But the simple fact is, they did hit him. And then they hit Juan Pierre, not trying to hit him either. But guess what? Sooner or later, you have to stand up and say, well, you know what? Control yourselves, or we'll do it for you. If you don't know how to throw the ball over the plate, we'll teach you how to do it. And what we do is we go after your best guy. There's your best guy right there, Prince Fielder. And he's looking around like, what are you trying to do that for? What are you doing that for? Who do you think we're going to hit, Prince? You're their best player. You hit our best player. We're coming right after you. That's the way the game is played. I don't know why it was any big surprise to anyone.
Jim Watson and Steve Lyons in center field. I think that part of the look on his face, he was so perplexed. Guillermo Mota used to be his teammate, and they were buddies, but it didn't end there. About 20 minutes later, Fielder was stewing in his clubhouse thinking about it and said, forget it, I'm going over to talk to the Dodgers. Where's Mota? And William Gomez, who runs the clubhouse for the Dodgers, says, I don't think so.
Thank goodness for William keeping him out of it.
And calls for some backup. Here comes security. I don't think Fielder really wanted to get through those double doors.
If he wanted to get past William, he could have got past him. He didn't want any. He just wanted to create a scene here. This is really kind of stupid. And, Ken Maka, their manager, said he wasn't the bad guy. I like Ken Maka a lot, but his comments about this whole situation couldn't have been further off the base. He wasn't the bad guy when he got hit, but he certainly was the bad guy after he got hit. You don't need to do that kind of stuff.
So what's the overflow tonight? Is there something? Is something going to happen tonight? Is everybody going to be on their best behavior?
I think it's over with. Baseball things like this don't really happen unless the game gets out of hand. What if you see an 8-2 score, someone gets a little chippy, that's when it happens again.
Maybe somebody gets plunked. Jason Schmidt, by the way, goes for the Dodgers tonight, and he'll have to contend with an angry Prince Fielder. The Dodgers have beaten Milwaukee 20 out of the last 27 right here at the hometown ballpark. We'll meet you back here after the final out. Enjoy the game.
Don't throw him a strike.
Brought to you by the Teriyaki $6 Burger with grilled pineapple back at Carl's Jr. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday night to you, wherever you may be. It is another gorgeous summer's evening here at Dodger Stadium as the Dodgers and the Brewers conclude not only the three-game series, but it's their final meeting of the year, game number 6. Dodgers come in having won 3 of the previous 5, 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, and they've split the first 2 now. For the Dodgers, they'll be looking at this lineup as far as the Brewers are concerned. Felipe Lopez at second base. Craig Counsell will play short, and Ryan Braun in left field. Prince Fielder will be at first base. Casey McGee returns to play third. Mike Cameron in center. Frank Catalanato will be in right field batting 7th. Jason Kendall behind the plate. And Braden Looper, a 9-game winner on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Jason Schmidt. And remember, last time out, he went 6 scoreless innings, allowing only 1 hit against the Atlanta Braves. Interesting to look at his 3 games. First one against Cincinnati, 5 innings and 3 earned runs. The second game against Florida, 3 innings, and he was ripped in that one, 5 runs. And then the shutout for 6 against Atlanta. So which Jason Schmidt will take the mound tonight, we'll find out in a little while. For the Brewers, they are 1 game under 500. They are 5 games behind the Cubs and the Cardinals, and for the Brewers, slip sliding away, trying to stay alive in the wild card. Ken Maka's club has suddenly fallen 6.5 games back. So they're going to have to go to the whip if they expect to keep their hopes alive. When they leave here, they will head for the Houston Astros. Meanwhile, the Giants won today. Interesting game. Ellie Whiteside, the rookie catcher, hit a grand slam home run. Joe Martinez, a rookie pitcher, picked up the victory. So the Giants are on the right start. And now Jason Schmidt, ready, in his first pitch to Felipe Lopez, is outside, ball 1-0. Lopez has had a very tough series. He is 1 for 10, and he has struck out 5 times. Swings, fouls a pitch away. In fact, check me, he actually struck out 6 times. So Felipe struggling in the leadoff role. A good player, however, batting .298 with a half a dozen home runs and 30 runs batted in. Schmidt turns, ready, Jason deals, and that's fouled back to the screen. The temperature on the very first pitch of the night, a very pleasant 82 degrees. So Jason Schmidt working from the first base side of the rubber, and waiting at the plate, the switch hitter Felipe Lopez, batting left-handed. The 1-2 pitch on the way, off speed, grounded to the right side. Hudson is up with it and throws him out. So Felipe Lopez taps out to Orlando Hudson, who is over his stomach ache. Dodgers defensively, Pierre, Kemp, and DePier, Blake, Furcal, Hudson, and Loney on the infield, and the battery of Schmidt and Martin. So the batter now with 1 away is Craig Counsell, the pride of South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame, and Wisconsin. Craig hitting .292. He played third base last night and went 0 for 5, takes a strike, and they count 0-1. So Craig playing shortstop. J.J. Hardy struggling with the bat. So Jason ready and comes right back, 0-1. Slow breaking ball for a strike, and the count 0-2. Jason Schmidt, 36 years old, 6'4", 210. Originally signed by the Braves, and that reminds us the Braves will be here tomorrow night. Strike 2 pitch on the way is a check swing and a foul at the plate, or did he just not make contact? It was dropped by Martin. So 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Jason Schmidt first came to the big leagues in 1995, then moved over to the Pirates. Spent about 5 or 6 years with Pittsburgh, and then really became an ace with the Giants. Counsell a ground ball, that's to Orlando Hudson to throw him out. So 2 quick, slow rollers to the right side, and with 2 away in the first inning, Ryan Braun coming up. If there has been one positive moment for the Milwaukee Brewers this year and in this series, it's Ryan Braun. He was 1 for 14 against the Dodgers when the Dodgers were in Milwaukee. But now the local boy comes home, and he is 6 for 9 in this series, including a huge home run. So Ryan batting .318, 22 home runs, 74 runs batted in, and takes off the plate, ball 1, 1-0. Ryan, born in Mission Hills, still lives in Granada Hills, but went to school at the University of Miami. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and Ryan swings right through it, 1-1. For Ryan, it's only natural that he's a brewer. No pun intended, but his mom makes beer for Anheuser-Busch. So she is really a brewer. 1-1 the count to Ryan. 25 years old, hits 1 foul outside of third. He'll be 26 in November. He's 6'2" and about 200 pounds. He hit a home run halfway up the pavilion in deep left center and put on quite a show in batting practice. I understand he hit a couple in the walkway in the pavilion. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, and the right-hand hitter takes in the dirt, blocked by Russell Martin, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Jason Schmidt A huge story, of course, his comeback efforts, and of course he has certainly paid the bill. Surgery 2 years ago to remove scar tissue, trying to battle his way back. The 2-2 pitch on the way is whacked to the gap in left center. That's a base hit. Trying to cut it off as Pierre, and does. Tries to get it into the infield, but not in time as Braun slides in with a double. So Ryan Braun doubles into the gap in left center, and now it begins as Prince Fielder comes up to the plate. For those watching TV, one look for the moment at Braun's double, and now here is Fielder. The world is well aware Prince was hit high up on the right leg by Guillermo Mota last night. Schmidt hands it his sides out of his stretch. They load up the right side of the infield, and the first pitch to Fielder, a big swing and a miss, and the crowd 0-1. Fielder, after the game, and they showed you the film clip, he walked from the Milwaukee dressing room to the Dodger dressing room, apparently trying to get in. His teammates came along to dissuade him. In fact, the fellow who really was the peacemaker was Ryan Braun. Fielder then hits a high fly ball. It's playable. Moving over is Matt Kemp and puts it away. So Fielder 3 for 10 in the series. They leave a runner at second, and at the end of half an inning, no score. Pitches, allows the double to Ryan Braun, and gets Prince Fielder, and we go to the bottom of the first. Here's the Dodger lineup now, with Rafael Furcal, followed by Juan Pierre in left, Andre Ethier, Casey Blake, and James Loney. Then you have Matt Kemp, Russell Martin, Orlando Hudson, and Jason Schmidt. Where's Manny Ramirez? Well, Joe Torre said it was a long road trip. He is 37, and it's a chance to give him a night off. So Manny sits this one out and talks to Juan Castro. On the mound, Braden Looper, who has won 9. The big problem for Braden Looper has been the home run ball. He has given up 26 home runs this year. Still 9-5 as he goes to work. And Rafael Furcal, hitting .267, will start it off. Takes outside, ball 1. Rafael with 5 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Looper turns on the rubber, and the 1-0 pitch on the way is swung on and whacked to right, down the corner, gone for a home run. Number 27 home runs allowed by Braden Looper for Rafael Furcal, his 6th. So Furcal got a ball down and in and just promptly pulled it Inside the pole, back in about 8 rows, parallel to the visiting bullpen. And the Dodgers are on the board, leading 1-0 after scoring 17 last night. And Pierre takes a strike. Count 0-1. Dodgers doing a welcome dance. And for Rafael Furcal, he has led off a game for the Dodgers 13 times with a home run. Line drive by Pierre off McGee's glove, and Juan Pierre is aboard with a base hit. So the Dodgers come right out breathing fire. McGee got his glove on the ball but couldn't hold it. So a home run followed by a single, and Andre Ethier will be the hitter. Braden Looper has not been pitching well. In San Diego, there was a 7-run rally in the second inning, and then he surrendered 4 runs in the 4th, gave up another in the 5th, and they had to get him out of there. So he has allowed 11 runs in 11 innings after he had another awful start. However, the Brewers are 13-9 in games he has started. They pitch out, but Pierre is holding at first. 1 ball and no strikes. Ethier hitting .275, 22 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Pierre has stolen 23 out of 32. Looper set at the belt. Braden ready. Another chance look over at Pierre. He bluffs, and the pitch to Ethier is off the plate, ball 2. Braden Looper is 6'4", 235, from tiny Mangum, Oklahoma. Population about 2,500. He now lives in Florida. He went to school at Wichita State. Out of his stretch goes Looper, looks again at Pierre, works Ethier, gets a strike, and the count 2-1. Looper will be 35 in October. Originally drafted by the Cardinals, made it briefly with the Cardinals in 1998. Then spent quite a few years with the Marlins, 2 with the Mets, back with the Cardinals, and now the Brewers. Throws to first. Pierre goes back head first. 2-1 the count with Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier leads the Dodgers. He has grounded into 18 double plays. We bring that up because you wonder about a hit and run play now. So Pierre off the bag at first, draws another throw and dives back. Of course, we're not pointing out negatives because Ethier has a team leading 22 home runs, tied for first with 69 RBIs, but just to point up the possibility of hit and run. Looper set at the belt, looks over his shoulder at Pierre. He does not go, and the pitch a strike, and the count 2-2. Jason Kendall behind the plate. Dodgers lead 1-0. Rafael Furcal led off the game with a home run. Furcal flanked by Castro and Ramirez, maybe a little rubbed off from Manning. 2-2 the count to Andre Ethier. Looper very deliberate, holds at the belt, looking over at Pierre, and this time he goes, and it's foul back. So Ethier fouls it back. Juan Pierre returns. Casey Blake retrieves the foul ball. Dodgers lead 1-0. The Giants pounded the Astros 10-6. We told you about Ellie Whiteside's grand slam and Joe Martinez a victory. Meanwhile, the Phillies took the Rockies apart 7-0. J.A. Happ, a complete game, struck out 10, allowed only 4 hits. Looper ready, another check. Pierre does not go, and there's a ground ball, a diving, smothering stop by Fielder to get the out at first, and Pierre moves to second. Nice play by Prince. Ball was hit to his gloved side, and he just went down and got it. As he came off the bag, he was able to reach back and then get up and step on the bag. So Ethier grounds out to first. Pierre is now at second base with 1 out, and Casey Blake coming up. Casey Blake and Braden Looper have a lot in common. They both went to Wichita State, and if I understand correctly, I believe they were roommates at one time. Blake takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Casey hitting .287, 12 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Casey Blake was signed by the Blue Jays in 1996, same year that Looper was signed by the Cardinals. Here's the strike one pitch on the way. Looper looking at Pierre. He's really concerned about him. Blake fists one to the right side. Lopez makes the play to first, and Pierre moves to third. So 2 down here in the first inning. Pierre 90 feet away, and the batter will be James Loney.
First baseman, number 7, James Loney.
1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Rafael Furcal for the 13th time as a Dodger leads off the game with a home run. And now James Loney trying to collect Juan Pierre. Loney had a tough night last night, but he's still hitting .290. 7 home runs, 68 runs batted in. Interesting, with all the scoring last night, Loney struck out 3 times and went 0 for 4. Out of a stretch as Looper looks over at Pierre, just staring at him. Now the pitch to Loney, and that's a little low. Ball 1. 1-0. So James trying to come up with his 69th run batted in. For the Dodgers, they are a select team in the idea of having 4 players at least with 60 or more runs batted in. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's low. Ball 2. The 3 teams in the majors with at least 4 with 60 ribbies. Well, you would have the Phillies, Howard, Ibanez, Utley, and Worth. The Angels, Abreu, Morales, Hunter, and Rivera. And the Dodgers, Ethier, Kemp, Loney, and Blake. 2 balls and no strikes. The count to James. Here comes Looper, and this time he's inside. So pitching very carefully to Loney. He's behind 3-0. In looking at other games, Loney 2 for 5 with a home run against Looper. 3-0 the count. Looper staring in. He has 5 wild pitches, so he has to be careful with Pierre at third. 3-0 pitch, and that is low. Ball 4. So Loney draws the walk. And now on the throw to third, Pierre, who looked like he might try and steal one, just does get back to the bag. So Loney is at first on the walk as the pitch to Kendall was low, and Kendall was still on his knees, so Pierre started a good 40 feet down the line and then went back to the bag. So here comes Matt Kemp. 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. I think had Kendall lobbed the ball back to Braden Looper, I think Pierre would have come all the way. But he knew just how far to go and what it would take to get back. Kemp hitting .323, and he takes low. Ball 1, and Kendall out to talk to him. So in the inning, Furcal led off with a home run. Pierre singled off McGee's glove. Ethier grounded out. Blake grounded out. Pierre moving to third. Loney walks. And here's Kemp with a 1-ball, no strike count. Matt, 15 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Last night, 2 singles, a double, a 2-run home run, and 5 RBIs. Matt takes a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers lead 1-0 here in the first inning. Kemp in and out of the box. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way to Matt. Swung on, grounded foul outside of third and down the line. Almost took the heels off Pierre. 1-2. Kemp, quite a force, as you know. During this series, he is 6 for 9. A .323 batting average ties him for 4th in the league. 7th in the league in stolen bases. And in the last 9 games, he had really been in the zone. He's hit over 400. 1-2 pitch to Matt Kemp. Looper thinks better of it and backs off the rubber. 2 down first inning. Dodgers lead 1-0. They have runners at first and third. Soon to be 35. Looper set at the belt. Braden ready, and his 1-2 pitch is instead off the rubber. And another quick look. Looper wasn't drafted out of high school, even though his uncle was a national scouting supervisor for the Mariners. Took a while before he developed. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Kemp, swung on, fouled away, and Matt is still there, 1-2. So not being drafted, that's when Looper went to Wichita State and was basically a relief pitcher all throughout college. So Looper waiting, 1-2 the count. Matt Kemp waiting. Looper at the belt, very deliberate. Right-hander taking plenty of time. Now he delivers, and it's down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Braden Looper basically fastball and slider. He has a changeup, a cutter, and a couple of years ago he was also throwing a splitter for the first time. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. First and third, 2 out, 1-0 Dodgers. And the next one is swung on and missed, and down goes Kemp. So the Dodgers get 1, lead 2. Rafael Furcal shows them the way with a home run to right field. And at the end of an inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Rafael Furcal leads off with a home run for the 13th time as a Dodger. Dodgers take a 1-0 lead into the second inning. It will be Casey McGee, Mike Cameron, and then Frank Catalanato coming up for Milwaukee. Casey McGee from Santa Cruz still lives up there. Went to school at Fresno State, drafted by the Cubs 6 years ago. Casey in the minor leagues finished playing a game in Des Moines, and right after the game in the ballpark, he married his bride. Casey, right-hand batter, swings, lifts one foul off first, down the line. Loney in pursuit, but it's going to wind up back in the stands, and the count 0-1. McGee spells the name MC, nothing different there, but then Geheee, but it still comes out very simply McGee. So the right-hand hitter batting .323, 9 home runs, 34 runs batted in, and the pitch to him, breaking ball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Atlanta Braves will be in here starting tomorrow night. Derek Lowe will go out to the mound wearing a Braves uniform against Randy Wolf. Schmidt rocks and turns. The 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on and lifted to dead center. Back goes Matt Kemp, just shy of the track to make the catch for the out. So McGee a fly ball to center, one down, and Mike Cameron coming up. Mike Cameron, as he checks in, 2 for 8 in the series. Cameron, couple of Gold Gloves and 15 home runs, 45 runs batted in. And the first pitch of the right-hand hitter is off the plate, ball 1-0. Cameron knows really all about the ups and downs of playing this game in the big leagues. The ups, he had a game where he had 4 home runs in the game. He takes the next pitch high, 2 balls and no strikes. The downs, well, 2 years ago, he struck out 5 times in one game. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Swung on and a towering foul behind the plate. Russell Martin coming back at the base of the screen, but it's on the other side of the screen. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. The ups and the downs, talking about Cameron, of course, that reminds you too of Joe Torre. Torre, a marvelous player, MVP, did all kinds of great things. But Joe had a night he would just as soon forget. One night he hit into 4 consecutive double plays. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way, and Cameron lays off one that's low, ball 3, 3-1 to count. Frank Catalanato on deck, and the 3-1 pitch coming up. Jason Smith delivers and misses inside, ball 4. So the Dodgers lead 1-0. Schmidt gave up a 2-out double to Ryan Braun, but got Prince Fielder. Now he gives up a 1-out walk to Cameron, and Catalanato coming up. Cameron, by the way, has stolen 5 bases, 5 out of 8. Catalanato had been released by Texas. Hung around, got an offer, signed a minor league deal with the Brewers, and the next thing you know, they needed him. And the left-hand hitter takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Among other things, the Brewers lost their right fielder, Corey Hart, who played Saturday night in San Diego and was operated for appendicitis the next day. Throw to first, Cameron back on the bag. Catalanato, a veteran, 35 years old, out of Smithtown, New York. Left-hand hitter waiting. Out of a stretch goes Schmidt. Looks over at Cameron, who has a pretty good lead. Jason ready and delivers. Catalanato checks. They'll look, and it'll be a strike called by Lance Barksdale, the third base umpire. So 0-2 the count to Catalanato. One of those fellas who was really raised in baseball. Played Little League, then he played Babe Ruth League, then Connie Mack League, then of course high school, and then was signed by the Tigers. Frank waiting, left-hand hitter. Schmidt at the belt, and there goes Cameron. The pitch is low, the throw is high. So Cameron steals his 6th. He's now stolen 6 out of 9, and for the 2nd inning in a row, the tying run at second base. Cameron not looking back. It was a straight steal, and he got away with it. So with Cameron at second and 1 out, 1-0 Dodgers, 2nd inning. Catalanato followed by Jason Kendall. Schmidt looks down the barrel. Russell Martin shoveling his cards behind the plate. The 1-2 pitch coming up. Schmidt will look back at Cameron, and the pitch to Catalanato is lined into right field. A momentary hesitation by Cameron, so he'll only go to third. He was not quite sure, so he just moves over, holds his hands out to his third base coach, Brad Fisher, as if to say, well, I thought maybe that ball's going to be caught. So he has to look, double check, and then of course loses any kind of speed. So first and third, 1 out. And the batter is the veteran Kendall. Jason hitting .231, 26 runs batted in. Kendall, a workhorse, a remarkably iron horse behind the plate for all his years. And the first pitch is a little high, ball one, 1-0. Chip off the old block. His dad was a catcher with the San Diego Padres. Jason was born in San Diego when his dad played down there. He lives in Manhattan Beach. #1 pick by the Pirates way back in '92, and he went to high school, graduated from Torrance High. 1-0 pitch on the way. Kendall looks, and that's low. Ball 2, 2-0. So Jason Schmidt, after he got McGee on a fly ball, walked Cameron, who stole second, gives up the base hit to Catalanato. Runners at first and third. 1 out, 1-0 Dodgers, second inning. And Kendall waiting, right-hand batter. The 2-0 pitch on the way to Jason, swung on and missed, and the count 2-1. Kendall is 35 years old, but there's a lot of wear and tear on Jason Kendall. Last year he caught 149 games. He led Major League catchers in games caught 5 years in a row. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way, and there goes the run at Catalanato. The pitch is swung on and missed. The bat gets out of the hand, and there's no play at second. So Catalanato steals second. Kendall, swinging at the pitch, lost control. The bat went out on the grass. It was a bad ball to swing at, and an even worse ball for the catcher Martin in which to make a throw. So it'll be a stolen base for Catalanato, second and third. 1 out, 1-0 Dodgers. And Kendall trying to pick somebody up. Right-hand hitter waiting. Schmidt out of his stretch. Jason's 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and popped up. Backing out into right field is Orlando Hudson to make the catch, and the runners have to hold. So Kendall can't do it. Just a little pop fly to Hudson. And with 2 down, Braden Looper coming up. Looper is a good hitting pitcher. He has 7 hits. More than that, he has 7 runs batted in. And he has had something like 47, 48 plate appearances. And he has struck out only 9 times. So he can be trouble. So Looper up there, second and third for the Milwaukee Brewers, with the Dodgers leading 1-0. Schmidt out of his stretch. Jason ready, over the top with a fastball, swung on and missed. 0-1. Hitting 86 on the speed gun. Boy, there was a time when you would face Jason Schmidt and he would throw a mean 95. Now he's really a thinking man's pitcher. The strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's just on the outside corner, strike 2. 0-2 the count. Even though it was a rout last night, in the first 6 innings last night, the Brewers left 8 men. I mean, they had plenty of chances to score. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Slow curveball, and it was just up for ball 1. That curveball 71 miles an hour. So he started him with 2 fastballs. Craig Counsell trying to time him from the dugout, as Craig has a bat in his hands behind Ken Maka. 1-2 the count. Here comes Schmidt. Fastball very high. That brought Martin out of his crouch. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. A reminder, the Phillies beat Colorado, but the Giants won their game. Cameron standing at third. Catalanato at second. 2 out. So the deuces are wild indeed. Schmidt set. Jason ready. And the 2-2 pitch is a fastball low, ball 3. So Jason pitching very carefully. He knows Looper can swing the bat. And he goes all the way with first base open. And the second baseman, Felipe Lopez, on deck. Looper, big right-hand batter at 6'4". Schmidt set at the belt. Jason ready. Here he comes, and it's swung on and fouled off to the right, out of play, back into the lower deck. So the battle continues. 3-2 the count. Schmidt deep in thought. Started him with a couple of fastballs, then threw the big slow curve. Now nibbling, and he's gone 3-2. See if he comes back with another fastball. Schmidt at the belt, ready. Jason delivers, swung on, line to left, and Pierre reaches up and backhands it for the out. So Braden Looper jumped on the fastball, and Pierre makes a good play for the final out. And at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 Dodgers. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, get the $2.99 big deal featuring a cheeseburger, a taco, small fries, and a small drink for just $2.99. And by Hankook Tires. Tame the road with Hankook Tires. Rafael Furcal led off the ball game with a home run. Dodgers lead 1-0. Jason Schmidt left the tying run at second in the first inning and left the tying and possible go-ahead runs at second and third in the second. So the Dodgers now will have Russell Martin, followed by Orlando Hudson, and then Jason Schmidt. Martin hitting .269, 3 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Braden Looper, who got out of a first-inning jam after the home run, makes his first pitch and flips a strike, and the count 0-1. Martin so far 3 for 4 during the stand, and the strike one pitch fouled away down the right field line out of play, and the count 0-2. Russell 3 for 3 last night, including a double and a couple of RBIs. He also walked twice. 0-2 to Russell Martin. Now the strike 2 pitch coming up, and Looper delivers low, gets away from Kendall. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Braden Looper has allowed 27 home runs this year. Gave up number 27 in the first inning to Rafael Furcal. But again, despite all of his problems, the Brewers have won more than they have lost when he pitches. And Looper way off the plate to Martin, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. As far as the Dodgers are concerned, well, Looper had no decision. He started against the Dodgers on the 10th of July. Went 5 innings. No involvement. 2-2 pitch. Little slow comebacker. Looper has it. Flips over to first in time for the out. So we have 1 away here in the second inning. You know, here's a steal of a deal from 76 and the Dodgers tomorrow. You can buy 4 infield reserve level tickets for $76. Compliments of $76. To purchase, Visit Dodgers.com/steal and use promo code 76GAS and save close to 40%. And you'll also have a chance to see Randy Wolf battling the former Dodger right-hander Derek Lowe. Here's Orlando Hudson feeling a little bit better than he did last night when Juan Castro had to answer the bell. Orlando batting .292 with 7 home runs, 53 runs batted in, and takes the strike, and the count 0-1. Orlando 1 for 4 in the first game of the series. Since the All-Star break, he's hit .361. He's really been on a tear. Strike one pitch is off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. For Orlando to miss a start, it's news. Normally he's out there. In fact, he has started 101 of the Dodgers' 107 games. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Hudson hits it foul outside of third, skips up into the seats, and 1-2 the count to Orlando Hudson. Of course, when he gets hot, he's blazing hot. If you remember back in May, he had a 17-game hitting streak and hit .370. And of course, way back in April, he hit for the cycle. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed, and down he goes. Strikeout number 2 for Braden Looper, and the batter will be Jason Schmidt. The big spinner, and Hudson comes up empty. And now Jason Schmidt came off the bench as a pinch hitter because, as we understand it, Randy Wolf did not have his spikes on, and he drives one to shallow right, and Catalanotto comes up to pick it off. 1-2-3 inning for Braden Looper, and at the end of 2, Dodgers 1, Brewers nothing. Dodgers lead 1-0 as we go to the third inning. Interesting, today marks the 55th anniversary of Tommy Lasorda's Major League debut pitching for the Brooklyn Dodgers. That was 1954. Tommy pitched 3 innings in relief at Ebbets Field against the Cardinals. The real bridge of the story, the first base umpire that afternoon was a pretty famous pitcher for the Cardinals who became an umpire, Lon Warneke. Well, later on, if you look back in the books, when Warneke was pitching, future Hall of Fame Dodger manager Walter Alston came to the plate against Warneke as a pinch hitter, hit a long foul ball that just missed being a home run, and then Alston struck out. That was his only major league at bat. And when Alston announced his retirement, that was the 40th anniversary of his at bat against Warneke. Meanwhile, the first pitch to Felipe Lopez, a strike, and the count 0-1. So Lon Warnicki, a bridge, the past and the future, Alston and Lasorda, and both men wind up in the Hall of Fame. The next pitch is strike. So Lopez, who has struggled with the bat throughout the series, struck out twice in game 1, struck out 4 times last night, and now here he is 0-2. Still good hitter, batting .297. Schmidt ready and delivers, and there's a shot right up the middle, right by Schmidt into center field. So Lopez leads off with a single, and the batter will be Craig Counsell.
Shortstop, Craig Counsell.
That is hit number 3 for the Brewers. Dodgers still holding on to a 1-0 lead. Counsell grounded out to the right side. Craig 0 for 1. We were talking about it ever since we saw Counsell in his first at bat, the dramatic change in his stance. He used to hold the bat with his arms fully extended, and the bat was straight up in the air, almost like an aerial on a car. But Craig has brought his hands down, the bat a little more than parallel to the ground. He has also closed up his stance, trying to help his balance at the plate. He takes off speed inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Craig, a walk-on at Notre Dame, and played baseball there for 4 years. Dodgers had him briefly, released him, and his father, John, was good friends with Joe Garagiola Jr. And the next thing you know, he was signed by Arizona. He takes high, ball 2, 2-0. Of course, probably the greatest moment in Craig Counsell's career, scoring the winning run in Game 7 of the World Series when the Marlins beat the Indians. That winning run came in the 11th inning, and he was also the hero in an extra inning game with a scoring fly ball. So Counsell has certainly been in the spotlight, having had a glorious career, and he slices one into left center, and that's going to land in front of Kemp for a base hit. So Jason Schmidt is in trouble again, but for him, so far so good. Counsell singles, Lopez to second, and now here come the big boys, Braun, Fielder, and McGee. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 4 hits for the Brewers, who have already left 3. Braun doubled in the first inning, so he has really made an impression. 7 for 10 in the series. So Ryan, big right-hand batter waiting, 2 on, nobody out. Schmidt set, looks back at Lopez, and then backs off the rubber. Braun in and out of the box. Playing left field, but he's still very shaky out there. Ryan waits. Jason Schmidt delivers, and the first one is in for a strike. 0-1. Of course, when Ryan played third base last year, he committed 26 errors, leading the majors in that position. That's why they moved him to left field. He did not make any errors in left field last year. And he has 93 home runs in 3 years. Here's the strike 1 pitch on the way, and Braun looks at an off-speed breaking ball that's just off the plate. 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. Braun, the Rookie of the Year in 2007. He beat out Troy Tulowitzki. Waits patiently, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Ryan drives it to right, going back on the ball is Ethier, and one-hands it. Tagging up is Lopez, and he will move over to third. So Braun, drive deep enough to right to get Lopez the time run to third, and here comes Prince Fielder. Those who travel with the Brewers, the broadcasters, say that Prince Fielder was just not himself last night. They say basically he's a good kid, quiet, soft-spoken, modest, doesn't Cadillac around the bases or make a big deal out of a home run. So he's up there now, first and third and one out, and takes a breaking ball inside, ball one, 1-0. Fielder, even last night, they tell me, after he went around and got to the door of the Dodger clubhouse, later on he was saying, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I did that for. Here's the 1-0 pitch. He swings, ground ball to Hudson. The quick flip with Furcal. The throw and bounce. Not in time at first, and the run scores. Fielder running with a vengeance to make sure that was not going to be a double play. The bounce throw didn't help the Dodgers anyway. So Hudson got the ball to Furcal, and a big slide by Craig Counsell to break it out. So Fielder hustles to avoid the double play. The run comes in, and the batter will be McGee. Scoreboard shows 1. Now they correct it to 2. So Counsell was the hero. Fielder got the run. And now here's McGee. And there goes Fielder. And the throw is a very bad throw into center field. And Fielder goes into second base very awkwardly. But he's got himself a stolen base. For Fielder, that is his second stolen base. Russell Martin is throwing the ball very high, and there was no chance to catch that one. But Fielder went in head first, rolled over, very bad slide. He's lucky he didn't hurt himself. And you can imagine Hudson with Fielder coming in head first. The ground had a shake out there, probably registered on the Richter scale. 1 ball and no strikes to McGee. Schmidt ready and delivers. Breaking ball off the plate. Ball 2. So we have a 1-1 tie in the third inning. Last night, Mike Cameron made a good play to break up a double play. That's when it was still a game, and it made it 4-3 Dodgers last night. So the slide by Counsell makes it 1-1 tonight. An overlooked part of the game. Not only how to run the bases, but how to slide to break up a possible double play. So Fielder at second base. McGee up there 3-0, and with 9 home runs. We'll see what they do with him, whether they green light him or not. Schmidt ready. The 3-0 pitch swung on, and a high fly ball into deep right. However, calling is easier, and on the track makes the catch for the out. Craig Counsell will not get any headlines, but it's his slide that gives the Brewers the run, and we're tied 1-1. Prince Fielder avoids the double play. He can thank Craig Counsell for that hard slide to break it up. And we have a 1-1 tie as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Rafael Furcal led off the game with a home run, his 13th as a Dodger, and the 25th career leadoff home run for him, and he takes a strike. By the way, Davey Lopes had 28 leadoff home runs as a Dodger. Rafael batting .269, and the strike one pitch on the way, bunted back and fielded by Looper to throw him out. So Rafael hits back to the box, one down, and Juan Pierre coming up. 1 run, 4 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Pierre singled off McGee's glove at third. So Juan waiting at the plate, hitting .316 and has a look at a strike, and the count 0-1. Pierre has done so well, and he has one of those difficult roles like a Brad Osmus, in the sense that he plays once in a while, and tonight giving Manny a rest. Hits a ground ball to short. Counsell is up with it, gets it over, and we have 2 down in the third inning. The batter will be Andre Ethier. You know, Saturday you're invited to the Dodgers Win Clinic and luncheon presented by Best Buy. You can learn the game from Ausmus, Say, Lasorda. Enjoy lunch and a Q&A session with Torrey, Hudson, Loney, and Loretta. So to purchase, visit Dodgers.com/win or call 323-224-2646. Ethier grounded to first in the first inning. A nice play by Prince Fielder. Andre has a look at ball one, hitting .275, 22 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Dodgers coming off a game where they scored 17 last night. First time they've scored that many runs at Dodger Stadium in 20 years. Ethier takes a strike and they count 1-1. Dodgers actually have scored 17 in a game 4 times in 48 years. Going way back when they played the hapless Mets in 1962. 1-1 pitch. Ethier hits a one-hopper, flagged by Lopez on the grass to get him, and that will be that. 7 in a row now retired by Braden Looper, and at the end of 3 as Braden walks off, we have a 1-1 tie. Pitching coach was the first Brewer ever to win 20 games in a season. Well, we'll give you the answer in a little while. Interesting in contrast, Schmidt versus Looper. Looper has had 6 ground ball outs. Schmidt has 6 fly ball outs. And we go to the 4th inning, 1-1. That's a strike to Mike Cameron. Walk, stole a base, got as far as 3rd in the 2nd inning, hitting .255. Fouled off to the right. 0-2 the count. The Brewers trying to stay in the hunt. 6.5 back in the wild card. 5 back of the Cubs and the Cardinals in the Central. Just off the corner, 1-2. In looking at the Brewers during the regular season, among other things, Ken Macha's club has won 5 out of 9 from the Cardinals and 6 out of 8 against Pittsburgh. Well, Ken Macha's a Pittsburgh boy, went to the university, got a degree in engineering, managed the A's, and won the Western Division title in the American League twice in 03 and 06. 2-2 to Mike Cameron. Waved at and missed the tag at the plate. So Cameron strikes out. That would be the first strikeout for Jason Schmidt. Bad ball in the dirt. Cameron badly fooled. Schmidt now ready to work on Frank Catalanato, who singled to right field in the 2nd inning. Schmidt had 3 strikeouts in the 6 innings against Atlanta. He had 1 strikeout against Florida, and he had 2 against Cincinnati. Catalanato hitting .277. And the strike. 1-1. Frank, released by Texas, signed a minor league deal and was fortunate to be called up after spending just 3 games at Huntsville. Next thing you know, he had a big league job and doing all right at .277. They lost Corey Hart. Corey Hart had 11 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. They look, no swing, says Lance Barksdale. 2-2 the count. The plate umpire tonight is Randy Marsh. Randy's been a big league umpire 28 years. Went to the University of Kentucky. Worked all kinds of series, including the World Series. Shot up the middle, almost took part of the mound with it. The Catalanato is 2 for 2. Considering the fact he stole 2nd in the 2nd inning, Dodgers are going to have to watch him carefully again. Jason Kendall had runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out in the 2nd inning and popped it up. One out, 1-1, 4th inning. And that's ball 1. Talking about Pittsburgh and Ken Macha, Jason Kendall had quite a career with the Pirates from '96 through '04. All the wear and the tear certainly have had effects, because Kendall was a terrific hitter for years. Hit .327, .332, .320, .325. Now he's struggling, hitting .230. The wear and tear of a veteran catcher. He never had a lot of power. He did have 14 home runs one year, but that's dwindled down to nothing right now. Last 4 years, just grinding them out ahead of Martin and Krasinski. Oh, fastball right up around the chin, ball 2. And Martin going out. I think that thing slipped. Meanwhile, Rick Honeycutt and the skipper deep in thought watching Schmidt. 1 run, 5 hits for the Brewers. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Jason Schmidt, looking back over his career, won as many as 18 for the Giants. The year before that he won 17. Those were light years away. 2-0 pitch to Kendall. Ball 3. Kendall has never done anything against Schmidt. 0 for 1 tonight. He has 3 hits and 23 at bats. That's less than $130. And very high again. So first and second, 1 out. Braden Looper coming up, and Rick Honeycutt on the phone. No one throwing yet in the Dodger bullpen, so he's going to get somebody up. Looper, remember, went 3-2 and hit the ball very hard in the second inning, a line drive, and Juan Pierre reached up to grab it on the dead run. So Looper with 7 runs batted in, trying to help his own cause. Rick Honeycutt, meanwhile, is trying to help Jason Schmidt. Braden Looper, tell you about the life of a ball player. Looper was warming up in the Marlins bullpen while his wife was very close to delivering. He was in Phoenix, and he got word that his wife had gone into labor. Well, he had purchased a plane ticket for a 1 a.m. flight to Fort Lauderdale, but he took the mound in the bottom of the 9th inning with the score tied at 1. And he got the first 2 batters. Then he missed with a 2-2 pitch to Uribiel Durazo, who hit the game-winning home run. And after the game, Looper said, "Oh, man, I'm going to be thinking about that home run all the way home." And Jeff Torborg said, "No, you're not. You're going to be thinking about that baby." And while he was in transit, his wife gave birth to a 7-pound boy. Foul back, 0-1 the count. Braden Looper. In the 2002 World Series, pitching for the Marlins, he was a big man in Game 4 in the World Series against the Yankees. Came in the 11th inning. The score was tied. Bases loaded, 1 out. Struck out Aaron Boone. Got John Flaherty to pop up. 0-1 the count. Shows bunt. It's a foul, so no play. 0-2 the count. Looper then breezed through the 12th inning. And in the bottom of the inning, the Marlins scored the winning run and even the series at 2 games apiece. Braden Looper. No balls and 2 strikes the count. James McDonald is throwing back of Jason Schmidt in the bullpen. Jason hanging on with both hands right now. 2 on, 1 out, a 1-1 tie in the 4th. Shows bunt and fouls it, and so he has struck out. So for Looper, he goes 0 for 2. And the batter now will be Felipe Lopez, who grounded out and singled. Lopez got the base hit leading off in the 3rd inning and came around to score the run. 1 run, 5 hits for the Brewers. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Brewers in danger of leaving 6 men in 4 innings. That's ball 1. They left Braun at second in the 1st inning. They left Cameron at 3rd and Catalanato at 2nd in the 2nd inning. They left Fielder at 1st in the 3rd, and now they have 2 men on with 2 out here in the 4th. Catalanato and Kendall. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1. Felipe from Bayamon in Puerto Rico. Veteran originally signed by the Blue Jays. And foul down the line, going towards the stands, and will go back in. So 1-2 the count to Felipe Lopez. Back to second base goes Catalanotto. Over to first is Kendall. 2 out. Jason Schmidt bobbing and weaving, trying to fight himself off the ropes and out of the corner again. One and two. And that's probably pulled down the line, hooking in the corner, and a foul ball, but awfully close. Got a breaking ball and just turned on it. Meanwhile, Honeycutt talking to Torrey. Still 1-2. Jason had made 54 pitches in the first 3 innings. The Brewers are 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 2-2 the count. So Schmidt, the veteran, trying to work his way out of a jam per inning. Deuces wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Off speed for ball 3. So it's a base running advantage. The runners will be going. And Lopez waiting. Lopez has walked 37 times, strikes out a lot more than that. The runners go, and the off-speed pitch is ball 4. 25 pitches now made by Jason Schmidt, who is obviously laboring.
Shortstop, Craig Counsell.
So another golden chance for the Brewers to jump all over the Dodgers, and Craig Counsell is the batter, and Honeycutt is checking. Is he ready? Meaning McDonald. Catalanotto at third, Kendall at second, Felipe Lopez over at first, and here's Counsell. And that's in the dirt, and it hit him on the foot. So Counsell is hit by the pitch. Everybody moves up, and the Brewers take a 2-1 lead on the hit batter. Counsell will get a run batted in the hard way. Felipe Lopez goes to second. Kendall advances to third, and Catalanotto brings the run home. And here comes Joe Torre. So that was the last pitch and the last straw. Of course, the batter is Ryan Braun, and this game could really get away in a hurry with Braun followed by Fielder. And Joe's decided to bring in young James McDonald and try and get out of the spot. So for Jason Schmidt, another tough night on the heels of a brilliant effort. And we'll be back. out. James McDonald is brought in to face Ryan Braun, who has 2 career grand slams and hit one this year against Cincinnati. So McDonald, as a starter, had an earned run average of almost 9. As a reliever, he has an earned run average of 2. Put it all together, and it's a little more than 4.5. So with the bases loaded, here is Braun with Kendall, Lopez, and Counsell out on the base paths. And a strike on the outside corner. So Jason Schmidt sitting alongside of Manny. Discouraging start for him. Made 80 pitches. 0-1. And driven into left center and deep. Back goes Campa way back. This one's off the wall. 2 runs will score. Here comes the third. The throw to the plate. The tag. He is out at the plate. Craig Counsell. However, Ryan Braun drives in 2. It's a 3-run inning. And the Brewers, after a good relay by Rafael Furcal and a fine swipe tag by Russell Martin, although it looks on the replay that Craig got under the tag, it's 4-1 in favor of the Brewers. To really argue, because when you look at the videotape, Martin did not get the tag down. Here's the throw from Furcal, and here comes Counsell, and he's going to go right under the tag. Russell turns. Here comes Counsell. The glove never touches him, and meanwhile Craig's hand is on the plate. However, Randy Marsh has been calling him for a long time. And Counsell, after a very brief argument, walks away. One thing about Randy, he was so definitive, and that's the way to make the call. Even if you're going to be wrong, be firm wrong. So it is 4-1 Brewers. And now here's Casey Blake. Ball 1. And again, the umpires do such an incredible job. It's pretty easy for us with the marvelous technology that we have to show a play decided by an eyelash. That's a strike. 1-1. Blake grounded out in the first inning. 0 for 1. Four runs, 6 hits for the Brewers. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. So a couple of whizzes from Wichita State. Teammates, maybe roommates as well. Looper and Blake. Casey hitting .287. 2-2. Ryan Braun coming up with another key hit. 2 doubles tonight. The only time they got him was a line drive to right field. He has 76 runs batted in. And a line drive, a one-hopper. So Blake opens up. That breaks the string. 7 in a row retired by Looper. Remember the trivia question? Had to do with which ex-Dodger pitching coach was the first Brewer ever to win 20 games in a season. A terrific guy. What a pleasure it was to be with him here. Jim Colburn, a 20-game winner in '73. Pitched a no-hitter, as I would recall. And in 1973, Jim Colburn pitched 314 innings. That's still a Brewers record. So here's Loney, walked in the first inning. 0-1. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers in the 4th. Dodgers have struggled all year against Central Division teams. Despite the fact they pounded the Brewers last night, their record against the Central, 12 wins and 11 losses. 0-1. And remember, with a 12-11 record on the line tonight, they have that homestand starting on the 17th of August against the Cardinals and the Cubs. So Joe Torre and the Dodgers have a lot of tough work ahead of them. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sliced in the air, back at third, down the line, a trio of Brewers. McGee tried to make the over-the-shoulder catch going away, couldn't do it. Ken Maka working on the gum, no doubt thinking that ball should have been caught. McGee appeared like he had it all the way, and it went right between his wrists. Should have caught it. So now let's see. And of course, if you remember the old radio show, I could hear Ken Maka now. Ain't funny, McGee. No play. 1-2. Big chopper up the middle. Lopez on the bag. Felipe turns it for 2. And it's dropped by Fielder. What should have been a routine double play, and the fans will roast him. So Fielder, an easy double play right in his glove. For Fielder, that would be his 6th error. So when you look at this inning, Loney hits that foul ball that McGee should have caught. Then he hits into what looks like a double play, only to have Fielder drop the throw. And here comes Matt Kemp. Foul ball. No error on the play for the simple reason the official scorers have always been advised you cannot anticipate a double play. Kemp hitting .322. Of course, if you're Braden Looper, you certainly could have anticipated a double play. And certainly Fielder knows it would technically be an error. 0-1. 0-2. Matt Kemp struck out in the first inning. Four runs, 6 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp trying to get the offense going with a no-ball 2-strike count, and Russell Martin on deck. One and 2. Braden Looper, a 9-game winner, has an earned run average a little over 5. But his record is 9-5. fouled away. Looper pitches out of the stretch a lot. He's allowed far more hits than innings pitched. And as we told you, he has given up 27 home runs. One and two to Matt Kemp. Loney at first, one out in the fourth. 4-1 Milwaukee. And that's lifted to dead center, and Cameron is right there. So 2 out here in the fourth inning, and Russell Martin coming up. Martin hit back to the box in the second inning. Catchers go through cycles, it would appear. Certainly Martin does. He'll be in a stretch of games where he will bounce his throws down to second. Then he'll get into a stretch where he'll throw everything high, and then eventually he gets the crosshairs lined up and makes some great throws. 0-1 to Martin, hitting .268. Two hard-working catchers, Jason Kendall and Russell Martin. Oh, and 2. But you look at the two catchers. Jason Kendall is 35. Russell Martin is 26. That is a huge difference when you think of all the games Kendall has caught and still does, and how many Martin will catch. 0-2. Down he goes. Foul tip and caught by Kendall. No runs, one hit, one man left, and at the end of 4, Brewers 4, Dodgers 1. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 4-1 in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers, and Prince Fielder checking in, followed by McGee and Cameron. Prince hitting .304. Slow breaking ball for a strike. 3 men on the right side for Call, Hudson, and Loney. Casey Blake more a shortstop than a third baseman right now. And a one hopper, and in shallow right field, Hudson throws him out. The fielder goes 0 for 3. And the batter now will be Casey McGee. The fly to center, fly to right, 0 for 2. Foul ball upstairs off to the right. 0-1 to Casey, hitting .319, 9 home runs, 34 runs batted in. He was with the Cubs last year, but just for the so-called cup of coffee, 9 games, hit less than 200. So this is his first real shot. 1 ball and 1 strike. Earlier, McGee had a leg problem, sore left ankle, and a patella tendonitis in his right knee. He had fouled a pitch off it. That was in the middle of June. When he was at Fresno State, he was a third baseman, and then the Cubs started to make him a catcher. But he's back to third. 2-2 to count. McGee, 26 years old. He'll be 27 in October. Hits that slowly to Hudson. 2 down. You know, if you can sleep under the stars on the field at the 4th annual Dodger Stadium Sleepover, that'll be August the 14th. Have a chance to play catch in the outfield, watch Field of Dreams on the big screen, and stay warm overnight with a free sleeved blanket. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/sleepover or call 323-224-2646. Pleasant dreams. Ball 1 to Mike Cameron. 4-1 Milwaukee. Dodgers got a run in the first inning. Lead-off home run by Rafael Furcal, 25th in his career and his 13th as a Dodger. Brewers got the run back in the third, and then 3 more in the fourth. 2-0. Ground ball to the hole. Well, with that arm, Furcal has been blessed. That was a much tougher chance than you would first think. Cameron runs well, and Rafael had to make the great circle route. It's still 4-1 Brewers. Bottom of the fifth inning, 4-1 in favor of Milwaukee. And the Dodgers will have Orlando Hudson, James McDonald, and Rafael Furcal. Braden Looper has held the Dodgers to 1 run and 3 hits. He has struck out 3 and walked 1. Gave up that home run to Furcal opening up the game, and he's done very well since. Orlando Hudson struck out in the second inning, hitting .291. And a cracked bat and a one-hopper to Lopez. That'll be that. 1 away. And James McDonald coming up. McDonald has had 8 at-bats. He is 0 for 8, striking out 5 of the 8 times. So you don't look for much, but you never know. Right. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Brewers. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. 1-1. Fouled off third, out of play. 1-2 the count. On deck, Rafael Furcal. Derek Lowe on the mound for the Braves tomorrow night against Randy Wolf. The pitching for the entire series, Lowe and Wolf, Jurgens and Billingsley on Friday night, Kawakami and Kershaw Saturday, and then Sunday afternoon Vasquez and Kuroda. So McDonald is still there. 2-2 the count. And see you later. So McDonald is called out. Strikeout number 4 for Braden Looper. And the batter will be Rafael Furcal. Furcal leading off with a home run, then hit back to the box. Remember earlier what appeared to be an easy double play. Lopez went to the bag, stepped on it, then threw the ball. Perfect throw, and it went off the glove of fielder. And I have always been taught that the official scorer has been told you cannot anticipate a double play. So we said no error. However, they apparently have gone into the books, done some research, and they will give an error to Prince Fielder. So in a sense, they violate the code. They were anticipating a double play. Furcal, a drive to right. Cavallonado will take care of it. So a very easy inning. And at the end of 5, Looper walks off, leading 4-1. He swung purposely to miss and threw the bat at Magley's knees, almost cut his legs out from under him. Well, on this day in 1956, Sal Magley became a Dodger. Who did they room him with? Carl Furillo. Let's go back to this one. Juan Pierre right there to handle the fly ball off the bat of Frank Catalanato. One away. Yeah, Sal the Barber and Carl Furillo became close pals, even though they had been bitter enemies. And for the Dodgers, it was a tremendous acquisition. Magley was 39, got him from Cleveland. Everybody thought he was done, and he went 13-5 with the Dodgers, including a no-hitter against the Phillies. The Barber, he was something. Jason Kendall popped up, walked, scored a run, hitting .230. Talking about the old days and considering the little brouhaha last night involving Fielder and Mota and the confrontation by the Dodger dressing room door. Kendall, a long fly ball. Pierre picks it off. 2 down. In Ebbets Field, the dressing rooms were wall to wall, and there was a door that connected you from the Dodger clubhouse into the visiting clubhouse. Just a door. And there were so many problems in those days. There was a huge fight on the field, back in the late 40s, the Dodgers and the Cubs. One of the funnier things about the fight, there's Looper getting a base hit. Dixie Walker was the Dodger right fielder, and he was called the people's choice. Anyway, this fight broke out. Dixie came running in from right field, and he stopped and bent over at second base. Then he straightened up and got involved in the fight. After the fight was all over, he went back to second base and bent down to get something and went out to right field. What was he doing at second base? When he was coming in, he took out his bridge work, put it under the bag at second base, got into the fight. Then after the fight, took out the dirty bridge, washed it off, put it back in his mouth. Well, anyway, they had so many brawls, they actually nailed the door closed. So you could not get from the Dodger clubhouse to the visiting clubhouse. Nailed shut. 1-1 the count to Felipe Lopez. Grounded out, single, walk, scored twice. Ground ball by the diving Hudson, and Looper almost fell down, but he's going to make third base standing. So with 2 out, first and third, and the teammates at Wichita State are united. Hudson just misses it, and then Looper arrives to third. Hi, Case. Hi, Braden. How are things? Brad Fisher just said to Looper, "You okay?" Because when Looper rounded second, for a moment there, he wasn't going to make it to third. So here's Counsell, and another big at bat for Craig, because hitting right back of him is Ryan Braun, and we have 2 out. Braun is 2 for 3, 2 doubles. The only time they got him, he hit a bullet right at Andre Ethier in right field. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brewers lead 4-1. We're in the 6th inning. 2 out, 2 on. McDonald in relief of Jason Schmidt, who allowed 4. Looper at third. Lopez at first. Ball 2. McDonald had to come in with 2 out and the bases loaded in the 4th inning, and Braun promptly roughed him up with a double. 2-2 to Craig Counsell. Crawled out trying to score in the 4th inning. Although, as we showed you, Martin really never got the tag on him. Deuces wild again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on at first and third. Just missed. So with a full count, Felipe Lopez will be going from first. Down in the Dodger bullpen, left-hander Scott Elbert warms up for a second time. 3-2. Lopez goes, and down goes Counsell. So the Dodgers don't have to look at Braun. Not in that kind of a spot. At the end of 5 1/2, Brewers 4, Dodgers 1. By Braun, off the wall to Kemp for calls, throw to the plate. Martin trying to get the tag on Counsell, didn't get it, and you can see he didn't touch him till long after Counsell's hand crossed the plate. So when Randy Morris tells you you're out, you're out. And I will say again, that's the way an umpire should do it. No sign of confusion, no sign of hesitancy at all. Out, safe, whatever, and there's not much the player can do about it. Brewers lead 4-1, so in looking at the tape you realize it could be worse than that. Braden Looper has done quite a job. He'd made 65 pitches in 5 innings, so that's 13 pitches an inning. He's had 13 of 19 first pitch strikes. He's only had 1 3-ball count, and he walked Loney in the first inning, and he has had 8 ground ball outs. So let's see how he goes now in the bottom of the 6th inning with Pierre, Ethier, and Blake. Pierre singled off McGee's glove and grounded to short. Juan 1 for 2, hitting .315. Ball 1. Outfield is split. Cameron somewhat shallow and shading left center. Big gap right there. They also shorten up McGee at third. Fielder comes up. 1 ball, no strikes. The bunt missed at the plate. 1-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Ramon Troncoso gets up and will loosen up. Remember last night, Troncoso, with the Dodgers leading 17-4, came in to get the last out. He got catcher Mike Rivera on a long fly ball to left field. Now he's back up tonight. 2-1. Big pop fly. It's McGee. One away. In fact, and it's just the Milwaukee side of the game, the Brewers were not only upset last night over Prince Fielder being hit by the pitch, but in the ninth inning, with the Dodgers leading 17-4 and with 2 out, Troncoso was throwing in the bullpen. And when Mota hit Fielder, he was kicked out of the game. And without batting an eye, the Dodgers brought in Troncoso to get Rivera, and the game was over. And Ken Maka and the Brewers understandably said, wait a minute. If the pitch was not intentional, how come Troncoso was in the bullpen ready to come in for Mota? That's the Brewers side. Andre Ethier grounded to first, grounded to second, 0 for 2. As far as Joe Torre, all he said about last night was, hey, that's part of the game. 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. By the way, when the Brewers come up in the 7th inning, it will be Braun, Fielder, and McGee. Ground ball right to Lopez. 2 down in the 6th, and the ground balls keep coming.
For the Dodgers, third baseman Casey Blake.
9 ground balls now for Braden Looper. And here's Blake, who grounded to second, single to left. What do you think the odds are? 2 fellas teammates in college, both drafted the same year, and they both make it to the big leagues and play against each other. Right. Looper from Oklahoma. Casey from Indiana. 1 ball and 1 strike. Casey hitting .289. 3-time All-American at Wichita State. Big man on campus, especially in his senior year. And he's gone on to be a solid big league ball player. 1-1. High fly ball carrying to right field. Catalanato on the track. So the Dodgers go 1, 2, 3. That's 9 in a row retired by Looper, and at the end of 6, 4-1 Brewers. 4-1 Milwaukee, and the big boys come up now. Ryan Braun, followed by Prince Fielder, and then Casey McGee. Ryan Braun will be facing Ramon Troncoso. So Jason Schmidt went 3 2/3. James McDonald 2 1/3. And now Ramon. Ryan Braun has had a huge series. 2 doubles tonight. He is 8 for 12 in the series. One time they got him out tonight. He hit a line drive right into Andre Ethier's glove. Last night he was also robbed of a hit. Ball 1. Braun hitting .320, 22 home runs, 76 runs batted in. Signed an 8-year deal with the Brewers, so he's going to be around a while. Fouled off. Braun with 93 home runs in his 3rd year. Last year was his high, he had 37. Because everybody knew he was a hitter. He broke Pat Burrell's record. Remember, Pat came up and played left field for the Phillies. Broke that record at the University of Miami. Then he was the Rookie of the Year in 2007. Big ground ball to Casey Blake. So Troncoso takes care of him. 1 away. And now Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder is only 25 years old. Born in Ontario, lives in Florida. Two years ago, he became the youngest player in Major League history to hit 50 home runs in a season. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two and 1. Fielder is listed at 5'11", 260. He is a mountain of a man. Breaking ball strike, 10-2. At one time, Prince weighed about 300. And his dad, who had a wonderful career in the big leagues, got a food specialist, and they knocked about 50 pounds off that. 2-2. First year with the Brewers, first full year, he had 28 home runs. Then the next year he had 50. Last year 34, and he has 26 right now. Two and 2. Oh, and they'll eat him up as he goes back to the dugout. So with 2 down here in the 7th, Casey McGee. And a frustrated Fielder, I'm sure, back in the dugout. McGee flied to center, flied to right, grounded out, spread eagle. Foul ball. The first guess you have when you see a hitter like Casey McGee so spread out at the plate You have to believe early in his career, maybe even as an amateur, he had a tendency to overstride. So in order to stop that, they split the feet. Then you can't overstride. That was the background on one of the great players of all time, who was spread eagled at the plate by the name of Joe DiMaggio. Then the direct opposite of that would be a Stan Musial. You don't see people hit like Musial, or have the stance that Musial had. Musial's feet were almost together. Left-hand batter, right hip was turned in the direction of third. It looked like he was peeking around the corner. So this is the complete opposite. Big bouncer to the hole. There's Casey, full turn on the money. So 1-2-3 in the seventh, and at the end of 6.5. Brewers 4, Dodgers 1. Now God Bless America, followed by Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Please rise with the singing of God Bless America. Off the bottom of the seventh for the Dodgers, first baseman number 7, James Loney.
4-1 in favor of Milwaukee. So the Dodgers, who scored 17 runs last night, have had one thin slice of humble pie so far tonight. So for the Dodgers, James Loney, followed by Matt Kemp, and then Russell Martin, going up against Braden Looper. Loney has walked and hit into a force play. James hitting .290. 0-1. One ball and one strike. Braden Looper has gotten himself into the 7th inning. He has averaged not quite 6 innings per start, so they're backing him up with Todd Coffey, who was one of the few reasonably hard throwers in the Milwaukee bullpen. Little ground ball to Lopez. So the ground balls keep coming. I think that's 10 of them now. And the batter is Matt Kemp. So the big boy out of Oklahoma giving the Brewers quite a lift here tonight. He is 7-4 lifetime against the Dodgers. Foul ball, 0-1. When Looper was in college, we mentioned earlier, he was 90% of the time a reliever. His first 6 full seasons in the majors, he was still a reliever. And then he was a starting pitcher in 2007, which is pretty remarkable. Squirted a one-hopper, bobbled, recovered by fielder, almost fell down and makes the play. And he has to laugh at himself on that play. So 2 down. A lot of the guys in the dugout were on him on the play, but the big thing is he made it. He might have wrestled with it, juggled with it, juggled again, almost fall, and make it to the bag. Whoop. So 2 down in the 7th inning, and Russell Martin the batter. Ball 1. Martin hitting .267. The Cardinals were the ones to make Braden Looper a starting pitcher during the winter before 2007 spring training, and the big question was, does he have the pitches to be an effective starting pitcher? Well, there's numbers. He's done very well. 2-0. Looper never a big winner, but in those 2 years with the Cardinals, he was 12-12 and 12-14. And he walks Martin on 4. So that snaps his string, and it gives us a chance to tell you, if you're traveling and you can't watch the Dodgers on Prime Ticket, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv, the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer. For more details, visit Dodgers.com. So Looper gives up his 2nd walk. Here's Hudson, who has struck out, grounded out, hitting .290. And ball 1. 11 in a row retired by Looper until he walked Martin. For Braden Looper now, he is right at 86 pitches. Drop that in nicely. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good straight change. Looper 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Dodgers with just 1 run and 3 hits. Home run by Furcal and Pierre single. So the first 2 batters had base hits, and they've only had 1 other since. 2-1 the count to Orlando. Mark Loretta out on deck. Loretta appeared as a pinch hitter last night, came off the bench, had a base hit. Dodgers scored 7. Two out, 2-1 the count to Hudson. 2-2. Down in the Dodger bullpen, the newcomer who was so impressive briefly on the road, George Sherrill, begins to loosen up. And talking about loosening up, Manny Ramirez restless in the dugout. 2-2. Shot up the middle, base hit. Martin to second, takes one look at Cameron and keeps on going to third. Now let's see, it's not going to be Loretta. Guess who? Ken Maka is going to take Looper out. In fact, since he's talking to the plate umpire, he'll make a double switch. Looking back at Braden Looper and Manny Ramirez. Ramirez 1 for 4 against him. It was a home run, but he will not get an at-bat against him. J.J. Hardy is going to come in. So Craig Counsell, we'll see if Craig is coming out or just moving over to play third. And while we double check that, we'll be back. In the 7th inning, he walked Martin, gave up the base hit to Hudson, and that's that. He made 90 pitches, and he goes out where he can only win or have nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, Todd Coffey comes in. Todd out of Shelby, North Carolina, originally signed by the Reds, and at one time when he signed with the Reds at 17, he weighed 305 pounds. That's why they waited so long before they drafted him. And he'll go head to head with Manny Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 2 in the pass against Coffey. First and third, 2 out, 7th inning, 4-1 Brewers. Ball one. Manny coming off a big night last night. 2 doubles and a home run, lined out twice, and was hit by a pitch. Martin at third, Hudson at first, 2 out. Manny 12 home runs, 40 RBIs, a broken bat, and a ground ball to Lopez, and that's that. So Manny shatters his bat. Looper still now in contention for a win, and at the end of 7, Brewers 4, Dodgers 1. Coffey comes in and breaks Ramirez's bat. Manny's going to stay in the game. He's out there in left field batting 9th, so that the new pitcher, George Sherrill, will go in Juan Pierre's spot. And Sherrill then would do up to bat 2nd in the 8th inning. George Sherrill out of Nashville, Tennessee. Lives in Memphis, Tennessee. 32 years old, an even 6, 225. Originally drafted by the Mariners. Spent 4 or 5 years with the Mariners, and then a year and a half with Orioles. Kevin Millar put the nickname on Sherrill because of the brim of his cap. So many guys like to bend the brim. Sherrill, however, wears it straight and down near the brows. So Kevin Millar called him the Brim Reaper. In fact, it stuck so well, Sherrill had it copyrighted. He is the Brim Reaper. When George was drafted, they drafted him out of the Independent League. And he starts a strike to Mike Cameron. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Cameron has walked, struck out, grounded to short. Sherrill actually turns his back on the hitter. That's kind of interesting. You don't see pitchers do that. From that angle, you can't see that. Breaking ball in for a strike. Well, normally you tell a kid pitcher, I want you to go into your windup, and I want you to keep your head on target at all times. But Sherrill doesn't do that. Then, of course, you had Fernando, who looked like he was looking up under the bill of his hat for directions. 2-2. And got him. Cameron has been a big disappointment, hitting just 250, and he's a high-priced player. And he goes 0 for 3 and strikes out twice. So 1 out in the 8th inning, and Frank Catalanotto coming up. Catalanato, single to right, single to center, scored a run, and flied to left. Breaking ball, strike. George Sherrill went to school at Austin Peay State University, and he was not drafted. So he signed with the Evansville Otters. That's an independent team in the Frontier League. That's a strike. Well, he had mediocre results as a starter, and at Evansville they moved him into the bullpen. Then after another year at Evansville, he moved from the Frontier League to the Northern League. And he pitched with Sioux Falls. Then he pitched for Winnipeg. In other words, he was hanging on to his career. One and two. Fastball just off the plate. George, 6-footer, 225, 32. The Brim Reaper. Whoa. 3-2 the count to Frank Catalanato. And got him. This is kind of like what Sherrill did in his debut as a Dodger. Struck out the side with the bases loaded in the 7th inning. So here's Kendall, popped up, walked, scored a run, flied to left, and a strike. When Sherrill was battling to stay alive in the game, hoping for a contract, he did get an offer from the Yankees, and then Seattle topped it with a better deal, and it was probably far better for him to sign with the Mariners. High fly ball. Manny coming over to the line. So the Brewers go 1-2-3, but at the end of 7½, 4-1 Brewers. Four to 1 in favor of Milwaukee. The Dodger run came quickly and early. It was Rafael Furcal leading off the game. and went down to get it and pulled it into the right field stand just inside the foul pole. It was his 13th leadoff home run as a Dodger and the 25th in his career. And then Pierre followed with a single, and the Dodger offense has not been heard from since. A great effort by Braden Looper, and then Todd Coffey came in to get Manny Ramirez to end the seventh. So for Call, then Sherrill's spot, and that's when we will see Mark Loretta again, and then Ethier. 4-1 Brewers in the eighth. Remember, the Giants won. Giants beat the Astros 10-6. There's one team with a better home record than the Dodgers in the West. That's the Giants. And after this homestand, the Dodgers go to San Francisco for 3. The Dodgers, unless they can come from behind, would then have the Giants trail by 6. Fly ball to left field. Braun. One away. So Loretta now will finally make it up there. The last time, remember, he was called away in favor of Manny.
Your bench choice is pinching for the Dodgers, number 5, Mark Loretta.
So Mark Loretta hits for Sherrill. Andre Ethier on deck. Loretta was originally signed by the Brewers way back in '93 out of Northwestern University. Came up to the Brewers in '95. Didn't take him long to get to the big leagues. A superb talent. And Mark was with the Brewers from '95 into the middle of 2002. Loretta, a base hit last night. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coming off the bench, Loretta with 10 hits and 6 RBIs, facing Todd Coffey, whom we mentioned weighed 305 pounds when he was 17, and much to his credit, he really worked hard to get it off. As he said, lots of salads and some chicken. And he came into spring training having lost about 80 pounds, and he said a lot of people didn't recognize him and understand that. He went from running 12-minute miles to 7.5 miles. Didn't eat very much and lost the weight. 2 down. And the batter will be Andre Ethier.
For the Dodgers, number 60, Andre.
Coffey is still a very big man. He is 6'5", 240-pounder. Lives in Forest City, North Carolina. He was very, very close to his grandfather, who played minor league ball. In fact, for years, Todd always had the initials AT for his grandfather inside his cap. Strike. How to keep the weight off. Coffey said, I go to a supply house and buy an 80-pound bag of chicken, and he said, I have a freezer designated just for chicken. He said, I believe I can cook chicken more than anybody in the world. I know every way to cook a chicken. Little ground ball. Here comes Hardy. Has trouble gripping, but still gets him. And the Dodgers again go 1, 2, 3. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 innings. They've gone in order, and it's 4-1 Brewers. inning. The paid attendance tonight, 50,276. 50,276. Jonathan Broxton coming out of the Dodger bullpen, so he'll be the fifth pitcher. Jason Schmidt, James McDonald, Ramon Troncoso, George Sherrill, and now Big Jonathan. J.J. Hardy, followed by Felipe Lopez, and then Craig Counsell. And if anybody gets on, Ryan Braun. In the background, Iron Man by Black Sabbath. Sherrill retired the side in order. Troncoso did the same thing. And now we'll see about Broxton facing Hardy. Hardy is 2 for 5 against him in the past. That's a strike. JJ hitting .227, 11 home runs, 45 runs batted in. 0 for 4 last night. 0 for 1 the night before. He walked 3 times in the first game. James Jerry Hardy. Four runs, 8 hits for the Brewers, 1 run for the Dodgers on 4 hits. Hardy, a Tucson boy, still lives there. Ball 2, 2-1. Hardy has a lot of power. He had 26 home runs 2 years ago, 24 last year, and 11 right now, but he's struggling at the plate. Last 2 years he had 277 and 283, but right now just 227. Fouled away. Dodgers got their only run in the first inning. Furcal led off the game with a home run. Brewers tied it in the third only because of a great slide by Craig Counsell to break up a double play and allowed the tying run to come over. 3 more in the fourth, and it's been the Brewers since then. 4-1 back of Looper, and now Coffey. 2-2. Fouled away. And of course, when you're looking at the Brewers and you're thinking about a closer, they have Trevor Hoffman, who has 24 saves and is getting ready. Two and 2 to Hardy. And a one hopper speared. Boy, what hands he had. Rafael Furcal. Tough play. 1 away.
Second baseman,
Now the batter will be Felipe Lopez. Another fine play by Rafael. Lopez, the switch hitter, staying left-handed, grounded out, 2 singles and a walk, hitting .300. Ball 1. Broxton hitting .94 on the gun. The Brewers heading for Houston. The Dodgers will dig in and await the Atlanta Braves. Fouled away. Dodgers won 2 out of 3 in Georgia. And now the Braves will be in here for a 4-game series, Thursday through Sunday, with Derek Lowe against Randy Wolf tomorrow night. Lowe beat the Dodgers in Atlanta. 1-1. That's a strike. So Randy Wolf sitting alongside Chad Billingsley, and Billingsley will follow Wolf in game 2 against Atlanta. Four to 1 Brewers, top of the 9th. In the dirt to the backstop. When the Dodgers come up in the 9th inning, they have Casey Blake, James Loney, and Matt Kemp. Manny Ramirez, remember, stayed in the game as a pinch hitter, but he bats 9th. They have to really come up with a rally to get Manny up for a second at bat. Broke his bat as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, if you weren't with us. 2-2. Ground ball up the middle. There goes Orlando. Second time he's gotten his face in the grass. Oh, an all-out effort by Orlando Hudson. Can't stop Felipe Lopez from a base hit. And the batter will be Craig Counsell. So Lopez having a big night after a very tough series. He had struck out 6 times, 1 for 10, but he's had 3 hits. That brings up Counsell. And the question is whether we will see one more at bat from Ryan Braun. Ball 1. Now Counsell that time was not holding his bat parallel to the ground. Let's see. Now he's gotten it higher up than it was earlier. Nice scrambling stop by Russell Martin. 2 balls and no strikes. Counsell 1 for 3, was nailed at the plate in the 4th inning. Counsell 0 for 3 in the past against Broxton. 2-0. Three and 0. Braun against Broxton, just to look ahead, 1 for 2. It was a home run. And so Ryan Braun will be coming up with 2 on, 1 out, and the Brewers leading 4-1. Rick Honeycutt has gone out to talk to Broxton. Ryan Braun, 2 doubles, lined out to right and grounded to third. He was 6 for 9. So now he is 8 for 13 in the series, hitting .320 with 22 home runs, 76 runs batted in. So the remarkable young ball player from Mission Hills and Granada Hills coming up with a chance to really break the game open. Two on, 1 out, 9th inning, 4-1 Brewers. When Ryan Braun first started, he was a shortstop. When they moved him to third base, he had a lot of counseling from Alex Rodriguez, but it didn't work, and they eventually moved him to left field. Ball 1. Since this is the last time we'll see Braun, we'll dust off that story again. The fact that his last name, B-R-A-U-N, was also carried by Sanford Braun, whose mother remarried, and Sanford Braun took the new dad's name of Koufax. It was May of last year when Ryan agreed to the largest contract in Brewers history, an 8-year deal. That pact will run through 2015. Two on, one out. 1-1. Earlier in June, Ryan launched his new bat line. It's called RBB in conjunction with Sam Bat. That's the original Maple Bat Corporation based out of Ontario, Canada. He also has a charity 10,000 Swings campaign. Little flare to right, and there's Ethier, and the runners have to hold. That 10,000 Swings, by the way, is a nonprofit organization that distributes sports equipment, footwear, and apparel to disadvantaged youths. Good man. And French fielder coming up. Fielder flied to center, hit into a force play, grounded out, struck out, 0 for 4. Just 3 for 13 in the series. They've really shut him down. Yet it's interesting, they've shut Fielder down completely, but they're on their way to winning 2 out of 3. Dodgers tried to get off the deck in game 1, remember. One and 0. 2-0. They would go to the bench if Fielder extends the inning. Coffee is due up, and Jody Garrett is out on deck. 2 balls and no strikes. Slice foul out of play. 2-1 the count. Fielder with 26 home runs, 94 runs batted in. Very first professional game that Prince Fielder played in the low minors, he hit a game-tying grand slam in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's a great way to begin your pro career. And ball 3. And of course, with his numbers, you know Ken Maka will green light him 3-1. Just a question of whether he likes the location. Brought up in the game, his dad Cecil played 13 years in the big leagues and was on 3 all-star squads in the American League. 3-1. Fouled away. Way back in 1990, you want to talk about a son having a tough act to follow. Cecil in 1990 had 51 home runs and 132 runs batted in. His dad was the American League MVP, runner-up as a member of the Detroit Tigers, and then later on won a World Series ring with the '96 Yankees. 3-2, 2 down, so the runners go. Lopez and Counsell. Foul back. High heat at 95. So it's a classic case of big guy who's somewhere around 290, facing a home run hitter who's somewhere around 260. Three and two. You know, he's not just big, he does have the nickname Tank. 22-inch arms. His legs, they say he can press 1,000 pounds 12 times with his legs. That is a very big man. 3 and 2. Boy, you know he wants to hit one. The crowd's been on him all night. Comebacker. The bigger they are, etc., etc. No runs, a hit, 2 left, and here comes Trevor. 4-1 Brewers. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. What a moment. Todd Coffey racing in to face Manny Ramirez, representing the tying run. Manny's bat is broken. He grounds out. Hayden Looper looks like he might come up with his 10th win, and that was a great spot for Todd Coffey. And now 4-1 in favor of Milwaukee. Jonathan Broxton made 26 pitches while he was in there. Interesting that Broxton faced 5 and did not strike out anybody. Jody Garrett is now in right field, finishing up for Frank Catalanato. And Trevor Hoffman, who picked up a save in the first game of the series. He is 67 for 72 against the Dodgers with 578 career saves, on his way to the Hall of Fame. For the Dodgers, it'll be Blake, Loney, and Kemp against Trevor. And ball 1. Casey Blake hitting .288, 12 home runs, 61 runs batted in. And a high pop fly into shallow center. Coming in is Cameron. So Blake pops it up into shallow center, 1 away. Trevor Hoffman will be 42 in October. Started to play professionally in 1991 and came up in 1993 with the Marlins, then to the Padres, and of course he became Mr. San Diego along with Tony Gwynn until finally moving on this year. Trevor with more saves against the Dodgers than any other team, and that's slapped in the gap, and Braun will cut it off and hold it to a long single. And the batter will be Matt Kemp. Dodgers, after getting 17 runs and 18 hits last night, have 1 run, and that was the leadoff hitter for Call's home run, and a grand total of 5 hits. Matt Kemp struck out, fly to center, grounded out. 4-1 Brewers, 9th inning. Hoffman struggled in the 9th inning in Game 1 Monday night. Picked up his 24th save, but he gave up 3 hits and a run. He had a hit batter. He had people all over the place. 1 ball hit to right field. Might have been caught. Bill Hall, just learning the position, was unable to make that catch, but that was Monday night. 0-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Matt hitting .321, 15 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Wow. And a 84-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 down in the 9th inning. And Russell Martin coming up. So Hoffman trying to come up with his 68th save against the Dodgers. More saves against them than any other team. And he is 2 out in the 9th. Martin hit back to the box, struck out, and walked. Tomorrow night, Bobby Cox brings in the Atlanta Braves, and on the mound, Derek Lowe. Loney goes to second, defensive indifference. Braves beat San Diego early today, so they've been here and have had dinner and a nice, comfortable evening. 1-0 to Russell. Orlando Hudson on deck. And then Manny Ramirez would be due up. 1-1. So Martin has to extend the inning. Hudson has to keep it alive before they can get to Manny, who is standing up in front of the helmet rack, hoping and waiting for one last shot, and with a different bat because the one he used as a pinch hitter was broken. 2-1. Trevor Hoffman, a converted shortstop. What a career as a relief pitcher. Bruce Bochy did a great job in contributing to Trevor's success. That's a strike. 2-2. In looking at Hoffman's numbers, 1-1, ERA less than 2, 25 strikeouts, now 26, and 10 walks. 2.5 to 1. Check swing, and down he goes. Though Martin strikes out on a changeup in the dirt.